Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my February TBR. I did not do a January TBR, and I've since kind of come up with a system that I want to do for this year in terms of my TBR. I know I haven't done my 2019 reading goals video yet, but I have three main ones that I'm going to just quickly talk about, but I'll go into more detail in that video hopefully next week. I'm not really sure. The first goal is to read the books that have been on my Goodreads TBR for the longest, as long as I'm still interested in them. So I've listed out, I believe, the 20 ones that have been on the longest, and I want to slowly work my way through them, at least reading one per month, if not two if I can. I want to finish up series that I've started but haven't finished yet. I did do a whole video on that, which I will link up in the cards if you're interested in seeing all of them. But I want to be reading 10 or less series at a time, and to do that I need to wrap up a few that I'm in the middle of first. And thirdly, I have here a bunch of pieces of paper in a bin. These are all of the physical unread books that I personally own, as well as authors I want to read more from this year. This will continue to grow as I get new books, as I discover more authors, or I find a new favorite author, their name will go in here, etc. And I want to be pulling 2 books or authors from this per month as well, to go along with my other reading. I will still be reading I will still be participating in readathons and read-alongs as I want. So I don't want to lock in my goals so specifically to say I have to read 2 of these, I have to read 2 books from series I've started, I have to read 2 books off my Goodreads list. This is flexible. Those are very general goals, but I still want to have fun, be a bit of a mood reader, participate in readathons that pop up, etc. So I'm going to choose from here first, because that will kind of determine how much I can read throughout the month, if that makes sense. I'm going to try and read between 5 and 6 books per month. I've read 2 in January and 1 in December. I am in an extreme reading slump, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to I'm going to mix these up without looking, giving them a bit of a stir. There are 2 colors in here, yellow, I'm just going to pick out 2 to show you. Yellow and green, those don't really mean anything, I just ran out of one color. I wish I would have made the books one color and authors another color, but it's too late now. Okay. So I'm going to reach in and grab 2. 1. 2. Okay. No! I picked out 2 huge ass books. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I just threw it on the floor. The 2 cards or pieces of paper I pulled, the first one was A Song of Ice and Fire, which is the Game of Thrones series. I am up to the 5th book. This is A Dance with Dragons. This is the last one that's out in the core series, book 5. And it has 1,123 pages. I finished the 4th book in June or July, and I haven't picked this up because it's so big, so heavy, but this is actually the 2nd series in my list to finish, so it bumped off one of the books that I had on my TBR, so this is going to count towards both the Roulette TBR portion as well as the series portion, because this is going to put me up to date with this series. Oh, this is such a big book. Okay. The second piece of paper I pulled was Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. This is a classic that I picked up from my library for 10 cents. It has a beautiful cover with these flowers, and it's actually not as big as I thought. So I have two classics I bought at the same time, Great Expectations and then The Three Musketeers, which is huge, and I thought it was that one, but it's not. But it still has 460 pages, so that's like a pretty average book size for me, and there are pictures, so even less than that. I don't think this is going to be too bad, but I do not read classics, so this is going to be interesting. I have no idea what it's about either. I want to participate in the Books with Friends book club that Books with Chloe and Spence from Common Spence has started, and they are choosing to read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I do own this physically, so it is in that container, and it's also on the list of 20 books that have been on my Goodreads list the longest. So this kind of works for 2 out of 3, but it will add a series onto my thing. I know I'm making this way too complicated than it has to be. It's fine. I do want to read this. I picked it up for $7 from a used bookstore, which is nice. My concern is, I know they're saying that you don't really need to have read the Grisha-verse trilogy, but I really wanted to read that before this book, and Books with Emily Fox says you really should have read the Grisha trilogy first. So let me know what your personal feelings towards that are. Have you read both? I know it's not really spoilers to read this first, but you get a better idea of the world and stuff from the Grisha-verse trilogy. Let me know what you think. If you think I should read those first, I will read those books in February as well, as many as I can to get to this. So I will be behind on the book club, but at least I'll still get to read this at some point soon, so I can watch the live show late if I have to. The book that has been on my Goodreads TBR the longest, and I also believe it is the one of the books that I've owned for the longest and have not yet read. And I know I put this in my December TBR, but I didn't get a chance to read it. This is His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. This is all 3 books in a bind-up. The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. And I want to read all 3 at once, so this won't really add on to my series I'm stuck in the middle of. The books don't seem to be like that big if I'm going by the lines on the top of the book. So I think I can get through it, but this bind up is 933 pages. So I know this is only 4 books, but I think this is technically 3, so that's 6 books. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I know this was a really long and convoluted TBR. To wrap it up, His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman is the book that has been on my Goodreads TBR the longest. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I want to participate with the Books with Friends book club. And then these were the 2 books I pulled out of my Roulette TBR jar. Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, a classic, and A Song of Ice and Fire series. Game of Thrones, but I'm up to A Dance with Dragons, which is the 5th. I don't know anything, I can't even hold all these up, about these 3, and I'm sure everyone kind of knows what Game of Thrones is about, and I'm up to the 5th book, so I don't really want to go into what this is about, except I know that it only follows half the characters, the half we didn't follow in the 4th book, but the same timeline, which I'm a little concerned about. I'm stressed about this TBR. I thought this would be more fun. Now I'm looking at my stack and I'm excited to read these books, but they're all quite large, so I'm a little nervous about that. This is my stack of books for February. None of these are lovey-dovey. I'm not really a lovey-dovey type of person, Valentine's Day doesn't really get me going, if you know what I mean. So I'm not too fussed with that, but I do know a lot of people are reading like a lot of smut in February or YA contemporary, and I'm not. Very fantasy heavy with a splash of classics. I'd love to know what you're reading in the month of February. Let me know down in the comments below. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!